The world, as Alice knows it, has already ended. Not with a bang, but with the relentless, gnawing hunger of the T-virus infected. And as the fourth cinematic installment in this perpetually escalating apocalypse, 2010's Resident Evil, Afterlife finds its genetically enhanced heroine flying solo across a ravaged globe, leaving the dusty wastelands of the third film behind for the sleek, yet equally desolate, aesthetics of a world consumed. This is Paul W.S. Anderson's return to the director's chair, and he brings with him a sense of hyper-stylized action and a commitment to 3D that shapes the very rhythm of the film, transforming it into a dizzying ballet of slow-motion gunplay and flying debris. The film wastes no time, opening with an audacious assault on the subterranean Tokyo headquarters of the nefarious Umbrella Corporation. This isn't just Alice, it's an army of Alices, clones bred for the ultimate act of vengeance. Milla Jovovich, in multiple iterations, executes a stunning, gravity-defying raid that sets a bombastic tone, only for the true Alice to confront the franchise's overarching villain, Albert Wesker. In a swift, almost cynical move of narrative housekeeping, Wesker, in his signature shades and severe hair, manages to neutralize the real Alice's superhuman abilities, injecting her with a serum that renders her, for all intents and purposes, merely human again. A spectacular helicopter crash later, and any confusion about the fate of the clones is settled, leaving our protagonist alone once more, stripped of her psychic powers but retaining her formidable combat skills. The slate is wiped, or at least heavily smudged, ready for a new chapter of survival. Alice's journey leads her to Alaska, the promised land of Arcadia, an alleged safe zone broadcasted on a continuous radio loop. There, amidst the icy, isolated landscape, she finds not a thriving colony, but her lost comrade Claire Redfield. Claire, now suffering from amnesia and bearing a sinister mind control device from Umbrella, becomes the first key to unlocking the truth. After a brief, necessary detox, the pair follows the signal south, eventually touching down on the rooftop of a severely fortified, zombie-encircled penitentiary in the ruins of Los Angeles. This prison setting forms the claustrophobic core of the film, a desperate microcosm of humanity clinging to life. Inside, Alice and Claire encounter a motley crew of survivors, including the imposing former basketball star Luther West and the morally dubious Hollywood producer Bennett, among others. Crucially, they also discover an inmate locked deep within. Chris Redfield, Claire's brother, an iconic character finally making his film debut. The dynamic shifts from a solo mission to a tense, multi-person siege, a return to the enclosed horror that defined the series' origins, albeit filtered through Anderson's maximalist lens. The central conflict quickly crystallizes. The prison is running out of food and the remaining survivors are trapped. Their only hope is the Arcadia, which they realize isn't a town, but a cargo ship anchored just off the coast. The escape sequence from the prison is a masterclass in set-piece choreography, pitting the survivors against the horrifying, axe-wielding executioner Magini and an overwhelming tide of infected. This sequence, shot in painstaking slow-motion 3D, transforms what should be moments of sheer terror into an almost operatic presentation of violence, emphasizing stylized spectacle over genuine fear. Upon reaching the ship, the true, unsettling nature of Arcadia is revealed. It is not a sanctuary, but yet another insidious Umbrella research vessel, luring survivors for experimentation. The final act is a breathless confrontation with Wesker, who has used the T-virus to grant himself superhuman speed and regenerative abilities, making him a formidable, Neo-like opponent. The showdown, featuring bullet dodging, close-quarters combat, and enough digital effects to power a small city, is the ultimate expression of the series' departure from its survival horror roots and full embrace of action superhero territory. In the end, with Wesker seemingly defeated and the survivors freed, the Arcadia offers a temporary respite. But Resident Evil is a franchise built on perpetual cliffhangers, and Afterlife is no exception. The final moments deliver a shocking reveal: the reappearance of Jill Valentine, another fan-favorite character, now under Umbrella's control, leading a new fleet of vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, on a collision course with the ship. The promise of continued carnage is clear. Resident Evil: Afterlife is less a horror film and more a kinetic, apocalyptic comic book. It's a movie of high contrast, high gloss, and higher than necessary body counts. It doesn't ask its audience to dwell on the tragedy of the T-virus. It asks them to marvel at the spectacle of its destruction. The plotting is often a convenient vehicle for the next set piece, and characters are introduced and dispatched with the efficiency of a video game. Yet, for all its narrative shortcomings and its heavy reliance on the Matrix-era slow-motion aesthetic, the film delivers precisely the kind of over-the-top, unrelenting action its audience demands, solidifying Alice's role as the unyielding, leather-clad, ultimate action heroine of the zombie apocalypse. It is, undeniably, a Resident Evil film, loud, illogical, and utterly dedicated to the art of the stylish slaughter.